One of the questions I get asked on a consistent basis is how to read a peyote stitch graph. So I figured this would be a fun one for Halloween to show you, and it's very simple. Basically, what you need is a size 11 delicates. You're going to need a black, approximately 350 beads. You're going to need a silver lined green. You're going to need about 6 of those. And an opaque orange, about 50. Now these, I've added extras in here in case some were dropped or anything like that. The graph, the actual whole graph, if I turn it this way, the whole graph will make about a size 9 ring. So I normally start here at the top and work my way down, so that way you can figure out exactly how big it needs to be for you. Now as you can see, I've taken my pattern and I've put it in a clear sheet protector. Now what I'm going to be using today is a Sharpie. You don't want to use a Sharpie, you want to use a dry erase marker. If you use a dry erase marker, what's going to happen is when you mark off your beads, when you finish with your chart, you can wipe it off and be done. If you use a Sharpie like I'm going to use today, you just have to throw the protector away. But just get you some sheet protectors and some black or whiteout markers or whatever, and we'll get started with the project. You're going to need about 3 yards of fire line to do the entire ring, and we're going to start here in this corner, and I'll show you as we go through how to do so. Alright, so first things first, you want to start here in the corner, and you count your beads at a diagonal like this to figure out how many is in the first row. So you're going to thread on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 beads. So 10 black beads for my first row. So I've got my needle threaded on. I'm going to use my black beads here, and I'm going to thread on 10. First one is going to be my stop bead. So I go back up through it. Okay, and thread on 9 more. Okay, now we're ready to do regular peyote stitch. This is even count flat peyote stitch. So to do so, we're going to work back towards the tail here. I'm going to pick up 111. I'm going to skip the last one I threaded on and go through the next one. So I'm skipping bead 10 and going back through bead 9. Okay, so when you do that, you want both your beads to sit side by side on top of each other here. Sometimes you have to make the bead you just added do it. There we go. So it's going to look like a T almost. Okay, next one is we pick up 1 black. We're coming out of 1 bead. I'm going to skip 1 and go through 1. So I'm coming out of bead 9. I'm going to skip bead 8 and I'm going to come through bead number 7. And pull. Okay, and I'm just going to continue down the row, picking up 1 black, skipping 1, going through 1, pick up 1 black, skip 1, go through 1, and then finally pick up 1 black, skip 1, and when I go through my 1, I'll be coming out here at the very end. So that your first row, or your first 2 rows, look just like this. Now when I come back to my pattern, my actual pattern here, I'm going to back up just a little bit so there won't be such a glare. I'm going to mark off with my little pen. I'm going to mark off my first 9, or my first 10, I'm sorry. Okay, now this row here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are the beads that I just added. So as you can see, you have your T shape here at the top and 1 bead here at the bottom. And if we go back to our sample, that's exactly what we have. T shape at the top, 1 bead at the bottom. Now, I'm ready for my next row, which is going to be this row here, my alternating beads. So I'm going to put on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 beads. I'm going to put on 5 black beads. So, it's a pretty simple, self-explanatory row. Grab my black here. So I'm going to pick up 1, and I'm going to go through the first black sticking up there at the top. Pick up 1, go through 1. Pick up 1, go through. Pick up 1, go through. And pick up 1 and go through. So that when you finish the row, that's what you should have. Get it back here. There we go. Just like that. Alright. Now, we just finished this row. We're going to come to the very next row, and we're going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 black. Now, it's very important when you're following a pattern that you don't flip your piece back and forth, that you just kind of stay working in one direction continuously. I know when you're doing one color, it's very easy to flip it back and forth so that you're working in the same direction all the time, but you can't really do that when you're working with a pattern, because if you do, you're totally going to mess the piece up and it's not going to turn out right. So you want to try and keep it the same way as you work throughout the piece. So now I have 3 at the top and 2 at the bottom. And that's exactly what I have here on my pattern. I have 3 at the top, 2 at the bottom. Okay, now working on the next row, I'm going to be adding 2 blacks, 1 orange, and 2 blacks. So 2 blacks, so 1, 2, 1 orange, and 2 blacks. Well, just took my thread off. Hang on, guys. Alright, let's try it again. So I had 2 blacks, 1 orange, and now 2 blacks. So 1 and 2. Right, I'm going to lay it down. I'm going to get my chart here. Look for my next row. Okay, I'm coming down this row. So I'm going to pick up 1, 2, so 2 black, 1, 2 orange, and then 1 black. So 2 black, 2 orange, and 1 black. So 2 black, two orange, and 1 black. Okay, lay my piece down. My last row, I worked down. So this row, I'm going to be working up. Alright, so I've got going in a straight line here. I've got 1 black, 1, 2, 3 orange, and 1 black. Essentially, you can see 1 black, 1, 2, 3 orange, and 1 black. So 1 black, 3 orange, and 1 black. Okay, so I come up this row. So now I'm going to come down this row. I've got 1 black, 1, 2, 3, 4 orange. So 1 black and 1, 2, 3, 4 orange. Now I'm not going to do the whole pumpkin. I just wanted to show you basically how to read a graph for peyote stitch. It's very simple once you understand the direction that you go in. A lot of peyote stitch graphs have a word graph that you go by, and those are great too. So it just kind of depends on the patterns you buy and what you like. So this is my pumpkin so far. So you'll want to continue reading your graph and following until you have the length of the ring desired. And I will show you how to zip up the ends. I've gone through and finished out my pumpkin so that this is what it looks like with the actual pumpkin. Now I'm going to continue on for the length that I need for the band in just the regular size 11 blacks. Now here's the thing you want to note about the peyote stitch. You want to make the band snug against your finger because it will stretch just a little. So be sure and do that, and I'll show you how to connect the ends when I get to my desired length. So I have the length of my completed ring, and you want to be sure on this end I ended with one sticking out. On this end there's not. So that way when you actually fold it together, it'll seam just like it should be. So I'm going to fold my two pieces so that it makes a little zipper there. I'm coming out at the bottom, and I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to come through the bead right next to it here on the first side. I'm going to leave this pulled apart just a little bit so you can see. And I'm going to come across to this side and go through this bead sticking up. Then across to the other side to the bead sticking up. And all I'm doing is going to do a zigzag all the way down, zipping up where I just finished the two ends. So come to this one. Then to this side. To this side. Okay, when you get back to the very top here, and you're coming out of this last bead here on the side, you remember when we did this very first bead, that was our stop bead. So you'll have a piece of thread wrapped around that little bead. So you want to grab a hold of it, and you want to pull that thread out. I'm going to come up through the very first bead, and then back down through the very last bead, and then I'm going to take these two pieces here and I'm going to tie them together into a couple of really good knots. And then I'll take and stitch through a few beads with each needle and trim off the tails, and then your ring is ready. So I hope you guys enjoyed learning how to read a very simple peyote stitch pattern. This pumpkin pattern will be available on our website for free for a limited time, and then it'll be listed on our Etsy site. So I hope you guys enjoy, and we'll see you next week.